Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome to the Go Pure Glow Show. My name is Kaylie. I'm a licensed esthetician and education manager here at Go Pure, and I'm very excited to be here. It's been a little bit since I've joined, and I have a very fun special guest today. We are going to be talking about skincare through the decades, if you will. And so say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from, and let us know if you aren't sure what kind of skincare you should be focusing on based on your age. I see a couple of comments coming in. Hello, welcome everybody. We'll just wait for a few more of you to join. Hope everyone is having a good day. Hello. Rose is joining from California. Welcome. How's the weather there? Hey, I see a few of you hopping on now. Welcome, welcome in. SoCal, gorgeous day. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Let us know also, I'm curious, what decade are you in as far as your age? What are some of the problems you're experiencing for your age group? See a few of you typing in. All right, welcome in, welcome. If you are just now joining, it seems that it was a little bit of a delayed start, but if you're just now joining, welcome. My name is Kaylie. I'm a licensed esthetician. I am the education manager here at Go Pure. I have a very fun special guest today. I'm really excited to introduce her. We are going to be kind of talking through skincare through the decades. So what you can expect based on your age, some of the changes you can see based on your age. So yeah, let us know where you're joining from. Say hello in the comments. Let us know what skin concerns you're experiencing. Maybe what age group you're a part of. Are you in your 40s? Are you in your 50s? Are you in your 60s? Maybe you're in your 70s. Let us know. Hello. Hi, Sherry. Welcome. Smita is joining from San Jose, California. Lots of people from California here today. Welcome in. Maria, hello. She is 69, joining from Texas. Rachel is joining. She is 50. Oh, hi, Lynn. Thank you so much. Smita is 65, so she's in her 60s. We have all sorts of age ranges here. Stephanie is loving the neck cream. Welcome in. Say hello. I'm very excited to have you all here. Anne is 60s. She's here from Washington. Michelle, Arkansas, 58. Colorado, 38. I'm in Colorado as well. Welcome. We have Delray Beach, Florida. You guys are from all over. 58, 70. Margot, 70 from NorCal. If you are over 40 or if you're almost 40, this is definitely the live to join. So I'm really excited that you're all here. Welcome in. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Norma. Melissa's from Denver. We have a lot of Colorado and Denver people here today. That's also where I am at. So welcome in. Yeah, like I mentioned, if you're over 40, if you're almost 40, this is the place and the live that you'll want to be joining. So I'm really, really excited to have you all here. Like I said, if you're just joining in, welcome. My name is Kaylie. I have a really fun special guest that I am really excited for you guys to hear from. She is a dermatology resident. She is based in Virginia, passionate about helping people achieve healthy and glowing skin at every stage of their life, from skincare tips to maybe some anti-aging hacks. She loves sharing science-backed skincare. So please welcome one of our dermatology residents, Dr. Jessica Kaprive.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Kaylie. It's good to see your face. It's been a while.
It has been a little bit. Thank you, though, for joining. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Well, I'm so excited to be here with the Go Pure fam. It's been a while, so can't wait to talk about everything skincare with you.
Yes. Yeah. We have a lot of fun topics to cover. So I'll get started because I know you only have a certain amount of time that you can be here with us on the live today. But like I kind of mentioned, this is the live you'll want to be on if you're 40 plus. And so speaking of 40s, we know that our skin can age. Let's start there as far as running through the decades. So what are some of the key changes we can notice or will notice when we're in our 40s?
Yeah, so 40s, I really love starting, skincare prevention in your 30s and 40s. If you're in your 40s and you don't have a regular skincare routine, do not worry, it's not too late. This is the perfect time to start. So, in your 40s, we actually start to lose, well, it's actually earlier than that, but the more apparent signs of aging, you can start to see little changes in your 40s. So, this can kind of look like maybe a little bit more dull skin, rough texture. You may start to notice some age spots or sun-related spots, sun-related changes. Your skin might become maybe a little bit drier. So at this point, we're pre-menopause, so we're not really seeing a ton of hormonal shifts that we see in our 50s, but I think it's a great time to start incorporating little steps that help mitigate age-related changes. So, specifically, collagen production actually starts dropping off at about 1% per year. So as early as your 40s, which I'm not too far away from. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 40s is a great time to start.
Yeah. And speaking of starting, what are some skincare products that you would maybe recommend starting with or introing with if you're new to Go Pure and new to skincare in your 40s?
Yes. So antioxidants in your 40s, I think, are key. So one being vitamin C is my favorite. I really think, we try to follow science-backed skincare, and we know that vitamin C in the active form, and Go Pure does a really great job of, formulating their product so it's stabilized and it doesn't, it has maximum efficacy on your skin for the longest. So using a really high quality vitamin C in the morning is I think it's a simple and effective step that you can start incorporating into your routine. I think the vitamin C dry oil by Go Pure, you can actually put it on at night too. There it is. Yes. Yep. So it's very luxurious. I also find that one to be pretty non-irritating too. But that will actually help prevent free radical development from that constant continuation of UV radiation that we get from the sun. I think it makes your skin, your sun protection more effective too.
Yeah.
So I think the antioxidants in the form of vitamin C are key. And then just like that, yep. So Go Pure has the tinted mineral SPF sunscreen too, which I think it's fantastic to pair that with your vitamin C in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you recommend starting that earlier than the 40s, or would you say 40s is a good time to introduce those ingredients into your routine?
Yeah. So if you have never used them before and you're in your 40s, I would say go right ahead. It's a great time to start now. However, I'm in my early 30s and I use vitamin C every day. I think it can benefit pretty much everyone. Even if you're in your 20s, you're younger than that.
Yeah.
Vitamin C is a staple that I think everybody can benefit from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but if you've never tried it before, go for it. And Kaylie, you're probably in your 20s, so I mean.
No, I'm 30. Getting 30s.
You don't look it.
Oh, thank you. So speaking of, and this is a good segue and a good reminder. If you want to shop this live, make sure to head over to our website so you can shop the products as Dr. Kaprive is kind of going through them. She mentioned vitamin C. She mentioned our SPF. It should be on the right hand of your screen. But yeah, you guys should be able to add to cart while she's kind of going through some of her recommendations.
Yes.
Yes. So as far as like some concerns we can start to expect seeing in our
Yeah.
40s, maybe
Mm-hmm.
with skin texture, maybe with like the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles,
Yes.
maybe we're starting to see those develop in our 40s. How would you recommend preventing those or maybe minimizing those as we age?
Sure. Yep. So that is something, if I didn't mention that, yes, absolutely. Your skin texture will start to feel more rough, and you may start to notice some what we call instead of dynamic wrinkles. So when you
Yeah.
express yourself, your forehead lines move up and down. And when you smile, these lines may become more apparent. However, in your 40s, they turn into something called static wrinkles. So you have that line that is somewhat permanent just at your resting state.
Yeah.
So in order to combat that in your 40s, I really like introducing a retinol into your routine. So there we go. Look at mine too.
Magic.
So GoPure's formulated this to include something called bakuchi oil too. I never know if I'm saying that word right, but
I know.
it basically does the same thing as a retinol, and it's very nice for sensitive skin types. I tend to be more on the sensitive side. I have not yet had serious irritation where I'd consider stopping it.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's formulated into a lightweight serum. Doesn't clog pores. It's nice for layering. So this is great to help boost collagen over time. The key is the longer you use it, the better results you're going to see. So definitely incorporating a retinol into your routine that will help over time smooth out the development of those fine lines. Now, something else you can do too is start introducing, and this is something you have to be very careful about, but introducing a type of exfoliant. So something that's going to help you shed that dead layer of skin cells that we all accumulate. So Kaylie's got them
Yeah.
right here. Yes. So the nice thing about the Go Pure AHA exfoliants is that they're gentle enough where they're not going to cause your skin to break out, become
Yeah.
very red, irritated, and we'll go over that a little bit later of what it looks like if your skin is not tolerating a
Yeah.
product well. But they're nice enough to, they're effective enough to do the job of like cleaning off that top layer of skin, leaving your skin soft, supple, and actually better able to absorb your other products.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned that they are tolerable because in your 40s, maybe you're not quite needing something as aggressive as you would maybe 50s, 60s, 70s. So it's
Yes.
a really good point to mention. Um, as far as like, I know you kind of you touched on hormones changing a little bit, which is always like a major question.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of hormone changes can we expect to see in our 40s? How is that affecting our skin? How can we manage those changes
Yeah.
before we, get into our 50s and into menopause?
Yeah. So as women, we have the just honor of pleasure of
Yeah,
like
there you go.
enduring, yeah, enduring hormone fluxes for pretty much our whole life.
Yeah.
So, one thing I do like to tell my patients a lot is don't be surprised if you have to change up your skincare every couple of years because of certain
Yeah.
fluctuations in your hormones. So, if you are through in your, you're still having children or your childbearing years, your skin is going to change as you're in your 40s, your body is preparing to have a dramatic drop in estrogen. So that doesn't always happen instantaneously. It's actually a process. So
Yeah.
you may start to notice early changes in terms of your skin texture, your hormones affecting your skin. So your skin texture may be becoming a little bit more rough and irritated, easily irritated to certain topicals. You might notice your skin becoming drier or, having this sense of what we call loss of elasticity or firmness to your skin. So, you look at these young, like 20-year-olds, and they just have this like plump,
Bounce.
amazing
Yeah.
texture. Um, you know, it's your, unfortunately, our skin is
Yeah.
dramatically does change with that hormone flux. So, um, I'll get to a little bit more changes when you're in menopause, but I think unfortunately for some women, they start to experience
Yep.
perimenopausal changes, a
Absolutely.
good bit into their early 40s. So just know that, if you do notice some dryness that you haven't had in the past, that might be a sign that your estrogen levels are dropping. And for that, I really like hyaluronic acid based serums. So GoPure has one. They have one of my absolute favorites is the Dramatically Dewy. This I don't leave home without. I go on trips with it. I recommended it to my mom, who's in her 60s,
Yeah,
actually. It's so hydrating, great for layering, both morning and night is excellent. But it's got basically a purified form of hyaluronic acid that we know is going to a certain depth
right.
on the skin. So not all hyaluronic acids are created equal, and this one is an amazing staple that I think over all the serums so
Yeah,
far, I think this one is one of my top.
it
I don't
really
know. What
is.
do you think, Kaylie?
I agree. I don't know if you guys can see. It's a very like liquidy, silky consistency, which, as you mentioned, not all hyaluronic acid serums are created equal. A lot of times, too, I find that they're like maybe sticky.
Yeah.
They're like don't necessarily feel like they're absorbing. They're just sitting on top of
Mhm.
your skin. I also love that you mentioned that you recommended it to your mom. I think
Mhm.
the really nice thing about all of our products is they can be used across all age groups. I always just think maybe the reason why they would need it is a little bit different. So this is
Yeah.
all great information. As a reminder, you guys, ask your questions in the comments. We will try to get to all of them. We have a lot to touch on today. You can
Yes.
shop this live as well. If you do want to shop while we're kind of going through the products, make sure to head over to our website. We will also be asking some questions and doing some fun games and polls where you will get a chance to win a gift card. So definitely hop over to
Ooh,
the website if you're watching like on YouTube or Instagram or another social media site. That's where all
that's
the
so
fun
fun.
is.
Yeah.
One thing, speaking of hormones, one thing that I feel like we haven't touched on, and I would love to hear your opinion on,
Sure.
something that changes with hormones is dark spots and hyperpigmentation.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, kind of, what is your approach to treating those that may appear out of nowhere, maybe in our 40s?
Yeah, sure. So, as a future dermatologist, I'm 3 months away. I'm in my dermatology residency.
Super
Um,
exciting.
yes, if someone comes to me and says, I have this new dark spot, this new sunspot, and it hasn't been there before, number one thing that I have to do is make sure that that's not a skin cancer.
Mm, I love
Because
this.
actually, it's not a fun thing for the patient or the dermatologist to have to go through if something has been treated cosmetically for a cosmetic concern that is actually a skin
Mm,
cancer and has the chance to spread. So little quick plug to go make sure if you have a new spot. I mean, in general, I think in your annual full body skin checks should be something that you prioritize,
yeah,
because some little sunspot changes could actually be a skin cancer. So
yeah.
quick plug for that. But
No, I love that.
yeah,
I've had
so
spots removed, even just like in my early 20s.
yeah,
So it can happen at any age.
any
Absolutely.
age. Exactly. So, given all is good, it's not, not a skin cancer,
Yeah.
not something that needs to be biopsied. For dark spots or hyperpigmentation, a lot of this is what it is pigment in the form of melanin. Melanin gives us our tan.
Mhm.
It's actually deposited from exposure to the sun, and that creates those kind of brownish spots. A lot of times these can be very stubborn to treat, but I
Yeah.
find spot treatment with even glycolic acid or other alpha, hydroxy acids, lightening creams. Some of them, hydroquinone is a lightening agent that's been on the market for a long time. I
Yep.
do have some issues with hydroquinone just due to, chronic usage. There's not
Yeah.
a good way to control how
No.
much you're actually putting on the spot. You can develop rebound hyperpigmentation on
Mhm.
that spot. But I like things like kojic acid as well, azelaic acid. But spot treatment of glycolic acid can be great. Vitamin C can also help with pigmentation issues. Even your retinol can
Yeah.
help improve tone of the skin, overall tone.
Yeah.
So those are some ones that I like that are more, easy topicals that you can put on. Now, if you have hyperpigmentation, in a good amount
Yeah.
covering your whole face, professional chemical peels like you've probably administered as a professional esthetician, Kaylee, those can help over time. You can
Yeah.
do those in sequence, but
Yep.
no matter what, I tell everybody that if you are going to invest money in these topical creams, compounds, acids, lightening agents, whatever it is, and you're not wearing sunscreen, then you're throwing away your money.
I
So there it is right
I
there.
love that you mentioned that, because I always am preaching this too.
Yes, preach it. We cannot preach it enough. I feel like it's such a important point that probably gets. I feel like people are sick of me talking about
Yeah.
sunscreen, but I won't stop talking about
No,
it.
you can't. It's so true.
Yeah. But the key though that Kaylie pointed out is the sunscreen that GoPure has, and the sunscreen that you want to shoot for if you have hyperpigmentation concerns is one that has a tint in it, because it actually contains an iron oxide compound in it that will actually block visible light too. So you can have hyperpigmentation from blue light devices like your
Yeah.
phone, your laptop. So
Yeah.
that could be contributing to it
I'm
as well.
constantly looking at screens
Yeah,
all day.
same.
Yeah, have you heard the joke that's like it's kind of a joke that goes around in the skincare industry that SPF is like the most affordable anti-aging cream
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
buy. Everyone is constantly asking,
yes,
what can they do? What can they buy? What treatments,
yep.
services they can do? And it really is true. Your
It's so true.
affordable SPF is going to be your best bet when
Yep,
combating some of these issues. So I love that you agree and you
100%.
are also preaching SPF use.
Yeah,
It's super important.
it's part of my job description.
True. That's true. This should be like your top bullet point.
Yeah.
What you do. I love that you mentioned SPF. You've
Hmm.
mentioned vitamin C, exfoliants.
Yes.
What are and you also mentioned and touched on briefly collagen and elastin decreasing.
Yep.
Are there any other like treatments or protocols or recommendations that people can do to combat this issue?
Yeah, definitely. So we touched on a couple topicals, but there are also kind of the next step up in terms of cosmetic procedures. When you're in your 40s, we're still talking about 40s, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when you're in your 40s, in terms of collagen loss, that when our naked eye is kind of looking at examining areas of the face that we start to notice collagen loss, it tends to be in our temples,
Yep.
kind of in the medial cheek.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly right here. And then we sometimes develop jowls. So yeah,
I
exactly.
already have them.
Yeah, same here. But those tend to be the more visible areas. So those are the areas that you can target with other cosmetic procedures. Now, in your 40s, you may not be ready
Yeah.
for dermal fillers
Yeah.
because that can almost be a little bit overkill based on your actual loss, because your actual loss is not always going to be so much more visibly apparent than someone, let's say, in their 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
So I tend to like to steer people away from things like dermal fillers that just basically are volume replacements when they're in their 40s. So, for those patients that are wanting to improve fine tune certain areas, there's something that I really do like is called microneedling.
Mm.
So microneedling, it's something that I'm sure you're extremely familiar with. But it basically is a mechanical or electric type pen that has a set of small, tiny little needles. We set it to a certain depth of penetration that we know it will target certain level of the dermis to stimulate collagen. So I really do like microneedling personally. I think it's nice when, not alone, but in conjunction to other procedures.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on microneedling?
I love microneedling. And I also love your approach that less is more sometimes. And also this
Yeah,
is a long run, right? Like
yeah,
it does truly scare me sometimes when I see, people can be like 21
yeah. Oh yeah,
doing fillers, and that's just not always
yeah.
the safest and most sustainable approach. So I love that you just mentioned, kind of boosting your own collagen, even if it's with products like a retinol, firmin lift serum, vitamin
Right.
C.
Yes.
Switching your routine at home to see those changes without having to
Go
get
under the knife or the
anything.
needle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I see this question a lot too is kind of the
Mhm.
difference between like preventative and proactive skincare and corrective skincare. And maybe
Yeah.
in the 40s, it's kind of a little bit of a balance between the two. What is kind of your recommendation so that people can see results, both again being proactive, but also maybe correcting some of the damage they've already accumulated?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. I think that's like the struggle, right? But you want to, you know, you want to be able to counsel patients, and this is my logic on it. Like you said, I think erring on the side of less is more.
Yeah.
Um, as you incorporate high quality skincare products into your routine, and the key is you're consistent with it, you will see results over time. So I think it's amazing what you can actually do to improve certain issues like texture, irregularities, hyperpigmentation, maybe loss of elasticity, just by using key topicals alone for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think erring on the side of prevention in your 40s, that's what I think should be the priority. Now, if you're, I don't want to preach neuromodulators because neuromodulators, Botox, I mean, that is a part of our dermatology practice,
Yeah.
but that's not a long term, necessarily a long
Yeah.
term fix. So that can be a nice softening of, deeper wrinkles for like deeper 11 lines,
Yeah.
frown lines, smile lines, but it's more of a quick corrective, short-lived type of a procedure. So, that's only going to last 3 to 4 months. I think that can be basically an add-on, but if you're not doing a regular, using key products that have been studied for decades, like
Yeah.
retinols,
Mm-hmm.
you're really not setting yourself up as well as you could for your 50s, 60s, 70s. I like what you said too, with this being more of this is a long-term
Yeah. Yeah.
game.
It is.
So yeah, I mean, throwing the whole kitchen sink at your skin at 40 years old is actually
Right.
not going to benefit you in the long term. But
Not at all. And
yeah,
sometimes with Botox and some of those more immediate fixes, it's kind of like a Band-Aid on the
yeah,
issue. And so having antioxidants like vitamin C, using your SPF, using a routine that feels preventative and proactive for your skin in the long run, I think is super important.
yes.
As far as corrective, I know there's some areas of the face in the body that might notice signs of aging
Hmm.
sooner. Could you
Yes.
maybe touch on those a little bit?
Sure. So basically, for women, the first area that we start to notice the true age is really like the neck
Yeah.
and um, decollage area.
Yep.
So this area, if someone has had a ton of, let's say they've had plastic surgery,
Mhm.
which I'm not against, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they've had a facelift or they've had
Yeah.
multiple lasers, but they haven't had anything done to their neck, you can really see the age-related, sun-related changes in this area.
Yeah. Very true.
So what I do want to highlight for that is the Tighten and Lift neck cream.
Yes.
So
We
this
know
I'm
it's your
using.
guys' favorite.
Yes, it actually I really love the texture. It's
Yeah.
nice and thick and it's great for the neck area.
Yep.
This is how you know it's specifically designed for the neck because of like that density, that thickness. It
Yeah.
absorbs really well. And I actually put it even on this upper like chest
Yeah.
area. So I
Me
put it all along here.
too.
It smells great. But yeah, I mean, this contains hyaluronic acid, which is great. It contains the proprietary ingredient from GoPure, the Matrabust, and it has caffeine. So that is known to like tighten the skin.
Yeah.
So I've noticed a tightening in my neck since using it.
I love that.
Um,
Yeah, I use it every day. And speaking of neck cream, I do see this question a lot.
yeah.
Can you use this product on the rest of your body?
Um, I don't see why not. I think a lot of areas, like another area besides the neck, that we start to notice age-related changes or kind of maybe sagging or crepey skin is the arms.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it there. I actually I've been using this pretty much on my neck, but I think for the ingredients that it contains, you can use it other places too.
Yeah. And I will also just say you can use it on your other areas, but
Mm.
you won't have to because something
Oh,
new is exciting and coming soon. So you guys will have to stay tuned for some more information on that.
yes.
Be sure if you guys are in the chat, ask your questions. We're going to try to get to all of them. You can also shop if you're on the website while Dr. Kaprive is making some skincare product recommendations. We have some giveaways going on, so make sure to participate in the polls and the games on the website so that you get a chance to win a $50 gift card.
That's exciting.
I know. I'm sure we'll do a giveaway winner soon, but we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see some confetti once they pick a winner.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Speaking of decades, we've kind of covered the 40s, some of
Yeah.
the changes that we're starting to see. We're still kind of being a little bit of, preventative and proactive care. Maybe we're not necessarily doing anything super intense like filler or any kind of in-office treatments.
Mm-hmm.
50s. What are some of the primary skincare concerns we can start to notice in our 50s? I know you touched on it, but menopause being one of them. How can we kind of address and manage some of these changes?
Yeah, so the average age of menopause for women in the US is 52. So that means some people, they're a little bit older when they hit menopause. Some people
Yeah,
are even a little bit younger.
for sure.
And like we talked about before, you might notice those subtleties even in your 40s.
Yeah.
But what happens when we hit menopause is we have a rapid drop in estrogen. So that basically means that we are losing our skin thickness, like our collagen is dropping actually at a rate of about 2% per year. So this is double the rate of loss than
Yeah.
in your 40s. So it's kind of like ramping up and then it just kind of drops.
Goes down.
But you're using your retinoid
Mhm.
in your 40s. This is a great time to just stay absolutely consistent with it.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, our skin barrier tends to become a little bit more compromised because of dryness that we experience from those hormonal changes affecting our skin.
Yeah.
So a little bit more, maybe rougher texture. I
Mhm.
think in most of the complaints I hear are just like my skin is so dry, like
Yeah.
it's just
A
I'm not.
dryness you can't combat
Yes,
sometimes.
yeah. And you know what? It's even after people are moisturizing really
Yep.
frequently, but you're fighting against hormonal influences.
Yeah.
So
I love that you
obviously everything else that's lovely that comes along with menopause. If
right.
that, just to top it off, your skin is flaking off. But that's why it's really important to use very hydrating products, maybe switching to a thicker, richer moisturizer at night.
Yeah.
So Kaylee has an
There we go.
example right here.
The
Yep,
anti-wrinkle moisturizer.
it's a wrinkle moisturizer. So that's really nice. It kind of combats, like I said, that rapid loss of collagen that you're going to start to
Yeah.
notice. I think in your 50s, it becomes a little bit more noticeable in areas like these nasolabial
Mhm.
folds. So
Absolutely.
you may the smile lines, you may start to notice those, and a little bit more permanent, that crow's feet,
Yep.
smile lines right here. So hydration, I think, is so key because of that, loss of collagen, elastin that is related to hormonal changes.
Yep.
Um,
I'm
yeah.
seeing a lot of comments.
Oh,
Everyone's
really?
the super
Everyone
dry
resonates with
skin in their
menopause.
50s and
Yeah. Okay.
not really knowing how to combat that. So yeah, I love that you mentioned maybe switching to like something a little bit more rich, like our anti-wrinkle moisturizer. I know we have a few sets
Yes.
with our anti-wrinkle moisturizer included as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we have a Firming Essentials bundle. There is couple other bundles. I always forget the names. Tighten Up Routine.
Mhm.
There's a couple different ones with that included. So feel free to
Yeah.
share that if you see it. It should be penned somewhere on the screen.
Yes.
I also see this question a lot, and I would love to hear your opinion on it. I know my opinion. Is it too late to start maybe using an anti-aging or pro-aging routine in your 50s?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
No.
I agree.
Um, I mean, I would say it, I actually have heard that a lot,
Yeah.
like, oh wow, I haven't been using anything consistently. I'm
Mhm.
not using a retinol. Well, could it make a difference for me at this point? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
If you start it now, even if you're in your late 50s, it's not too late. The actual topical, the compound of a retinol, no matter how old you are, it's going to affect the collagen in your dermis of your skin.
Yeah.
So it over time, what's actually nice is that it thickens that epidermis, that top layer of skin. Over time, our skin actually thins out, becomes a
Mhm.
little bit thinner. So just having that nice boost of thickness in our epidermis is gonna, you're gonna start to notice more apparent results.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that you mentioned that too, because I see this all over social media.
Mhm.
And as a dermatologist or almost dermatologist, there is a lot of misinformation out there, but
Yeah.
that retinol is thinning your skin more almost.
Mhm.
And so I love that you mentioned that it is actually help boosting collagen over time.
Yes.
That's a really great point. As far as like, again, going back to hormonal changes that we might see in
Yeah.
our, because that is such a big part of this decade, is there a best way to care for your skin if it's maybe leaning more on the sensitive side, or you're having more of those hormonal issues? Oh, and it looks like we have a winner.
Woo!
Congratulations, Donna Rose. You just won a gift card.
Congrats, Donna.
Thank you for participating in the comments and the questions and the games and joining and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Congrats. Have fun picking out something fun.
Yay. Yeah, absolutely. Have fun shopping.
Yeah, so basically, when your skin becomes a little bit more sensitive in your 50s, due to menopause or age-related changes or whatever it is, I do recommend switching to more maybe sensitive, safe for sensitive skin type
Yeah.
products. Um, Unfortunately, I think I don't know if I've even talked about this before on a live. Maybe I have, but it's key to use either fragrance free products or products that are naturally fragrant. So,
Yeah.
I actually met with the product development team of Go
Yeah.
Pure, and they told me how all of their products, they don't add in a fragrance. The actual, the aroma of the product is all based on the natural ingredients that they put into that compound. So, adding a fragrance can actually irritate your skin and make your skin
Mhm.
more sensitive to that topical and kind of be counterproductive for what you're trying to achieve. So, fragrance free products. And then other soothing ingredients that I love include something called squalene. So, I don't know if anyone has heard about that. Maybe put some hearts in the chat if you've heard of squalene.
Yes.
um, so the barrier cream and there it is. Both contain that. Really, really nice. That one I love.
Yeah, that's a good ingredient call
Very
out.
soothing and hydrating for the skin. So if your skin is feeling extra dry, that's so nice. Squalene is actually part of our natural lipid barrier of our skin. Excuse me. And it's something that we can, if our levels drop off, we start to notice that dryness. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, aloe is another great product. And
That
then,
is, yeah.
yes, oat related products can also be soothing for your skin.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a question on the, speaking of sensitive skin, is the anti-wrinkle moisturizer suitable for sensitive skin? What would you say?
I think it is because it has, like I said, that bakuchiol in it. So that key ingredient actually helps your skin not react in a way that just a tretinoin alone would.
Yeah.
So it is great for sensitive skin types because of that. So pretty
Yeah.
well tolerated. Like I said, I have really sensitive skin and I have not had an issue with it thus far.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned the word tolerable because so many, I mean, our products are formulated, like you said, to be tolerable for sensitive skin, for different skin types, for different skin ages. So
Yeah.
definitely be sure to take in this information, this wonderful information from Dr. Kaprive, regardless of what decade you are in. Speaking of
Yes.
decades, I know we're almost to the end here. 60s. What kind of things can we see in the 60s and the 70s and beyond? And what are some of the top, concerns that people should focus on?
Yeah, so in the 60s, you're going to start to notice more pronounced lines. So those smile lines, other lines that you might notice, those lines become a little bit more deep.
Yeah.
Um, you may notice your skin thinning out a little bit. A lot of times, just running into something accidentally, you'll easily bruise. So
Mm.
that's just because that layer of skin, the collagen elastin, is at a little bit lower point than it was the decade before. And you may notice some slower healing. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's part of it. However, there are things that you can do to help mitigate that, so we can get into that. We want to, in this decade, 60s, especially moving into your 70s, we want to focus on strengthening your skin and then protecting it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you say that things like, is there any specific ingredients or products that they should be focusing on? Or would you say it's kind of similar to the 50s or maybe even the 40s?
I would say it's somewhat similar, but now you want to do your best to just maintain that consistency because
Yeah.
your skin needs it the most right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, what you've been doing the decade before has already prepped your skin for this time. But at this point, I could definitely make an argument for if you do notice significant volume loss, maybe utilizing some of those other more invasive procedures. If you're looking for a dermal filler to, replace volume or whatnot, there's something else called radio frequency skin tightening, which is a non-invasive approach that basically uses electromagnetic waves to kind of heat the skin and boost collagen. So that's just kind of something else that you can do. It's nice because it's not an injection.
Right.
So lasers are good too at this stage. I like something called Sculptra. This is just from a dermatology standpoint.
Yeah.
Sculptra is not a filler. It basically stimulates your body's own collagen to form cross links on itself.
Yep.
So I like it. It's a little bit more natural approach.
Mm.
Um, but it is a step above, just using topicals.
Yeah.
I think a targeted moisturizer is really key though during this decade. So something that's rich, a thicker cream, definitely one that contains retinol.
Yeah.
I do think like an eye cream. I know we haven't mentioned this yet, but
Yeah.
I think eye creams that do have like this one right here with Go Pure, it's targeted for that delicate under eye
Yeah.
skin. This is also an area we start to notice sagging,
Yep.
lax skin. Just I think the under eye, I don't know if you feel the same way, Kaylie, but I feel like the under eye area really kind of makes you look tired if
Mhm.
it's,
I think it
um,
is, yeah, definitely one of those more
yeah,
delicate areas that can also show more visible signs of aging sooner, like
yeah,
our neck or our chest, because
yes,
it is just like you said, so thin and delicate. And I love our eye cream. I don't know about you, but
yes,
I find that so many eye creams target only one answer. Like
yeah,
they're specifically for dark circles or they're specifically for fine lines and wrinkles. There's specifically for puffiness. They're never
yes,
necessarily focusing on all of the above. And so that I love that
yeah,
our ingredient or that our eye cream is packed with ingredients to target
yeah.
the dark spots and fine lines and the puffiness that you get under your eye as well. So
Yes.
I'm glad that you mentioned that product. I love our eye cream so much.
Yes, I do. I actually try to, I'm not always the best with this, but I try to actually use it twice a day because I
Yeah.
feel like it kind of wakes my eyes up in the morning
Yeah,
and
it
helps
just
with
feels
puffiness.
nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know you kind of mentioned this earlier, and we might start seeing more of this in the 60s and beyond. Redness, sensitivity, rosacea can be a little bit more prominent as we age. Is there any specific ingredients or products you recommend if someone is experiencing this?
Yeah, so it's really important to pay attention to your skin if your skin is starting to become irritated. Some of the symptoms, or I guess sensations that you might experience if your skin is reacting to something, is like Kaylie said, redness, irritation, itching, burning.
Mm,
You know, there's always a chance that your skin you could be developing a sensitivity or allergy to something.
yeah.
So the best thing to do right away is to back off on using that product.
Yep.
You know, might even consider stopping it entirely, just in case. So, you know, your skin, because it is thinner, it can be more sensitive to other ingredients or topicals. So, kind of like I was saying earlier, you know, sticking to a product that is gentler on the skin. It's, you know, maybe contains those other products like squalene, their hyaluronic acid. You know, those are natural components of your skin, so
Yeah.
they're not going to break you out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I would, you know, if you are starting to notice those things, definitely back off on it. In terms of redness, though, products that I like, you know, it could be something called rosacea.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that a lot of people have. It can be, you know, made worse with certain triggers. So even just lifestyle things, not wearing sunscreen, um, you know, red wine. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
bad. I definitely do not think red wine is a bad thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
everything in moderation, but
For
that
sure.
can almost
For sure.
dilate the vessels.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, sunscreen is great. Other topicals that are, you know, prescription based, you can definitely see a dermatologist for that. But like soothing ingredients, gels tend to be a little bit more soothing than maybe a thicker moisturizer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of questions, just so you know. If we haven't gotten to your question yet, we will be having a Q&A. I'll be staying on after Dr. Kaprive has to go, but just stay tuned. There's a lot of questions. We'll try to answer all of them. We just have a few more minutes left with her. I know that this is a common concern in 60s, 70s, and beyond, is the thinning skin on our hands, on our arms, on our legs, our neck. We already talked about. Is there anything you recommend to kind of combat this concern in these aging in these areas?
Yeah, yeah. So you want to look for a body cream that has actually clinically proven tightening properties.
Yeah.
So, you know, moisturizers are great. They're going to help repair the actual skin barrier from a hydration standpoint, but you want a cream that's going to, so this is a body cream that I really love.
Yep.
Because, you know, the studies that GoPure has done has actually shown skin tightening, like real clinical skin tightening, great results. You want something that's not only going to hydrate, but it's going to boost that collagen and
Mhm.
firm up the skin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've used this one. I've actually given it to my mom as well. So yeah.
Got a whole Go Pure routine.
Yeah.
I also love always recommending bringing your products down, you know, that you're applying to your face, down to your neck
Mhm.
and chest, to the back of your hands. I mean, I know one thing too, a lot of people don't think about when we're driving and we're not putting
Yes.
SPF on our hands, they are right there in the sun. You know, if you have a long
Yes.
commute every single day for decades and decades, obviously you're going to start seeing some sun damage in that area. So I always love recommending applying products to those areas and also bringing down your SPF for
Yeah,
sure.
that's such a good point. Actually, when I was driving home from work today, I knew my hands were sitting right there, and I just slathered some sunscreen
Yeah.
over top.
Yeah, I
So
do that too. I've seen the gloves and I haven't quite gone that far, but I
yes,
know that they make
yes.
them. Well, this has been so great. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. It's been
Of
so fun.
course. I hope everybody learned something. I'm sure you did. I learned something new. It's always fun to hear from you and hear from your expertise. So I really appreciate you joining, and hopefully we can have you on here again soon.
I would love to. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining. It's been so fun.
Thank you. Have a good one. Everyone say goodbye to Dr. Kaprive. All righty. That was so fun. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm seeing lots of thank yous. So I'll be sure to spread the message to her after the live. But as a reminder, you can still shop. I'm going to try to reach your questions. There was a lot of questions coming through, and we only had a certain amount of time with Dr. Kaprive. She's very busy, so I just wanted to make sure we could get to everything. But feel free to keep asking asking your questions in the comments. I'll kind of try to reiterate some of the different decades. If there's one that you maybe have more questions on, maybe you're in your 40s, maybe you're in your 50s. Let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to touch on it. As a reminder, you can shop if you're watching on our website, and it should be at the bottom of your screen, of your carts. There should be some games and polls and giveaways. I'm sure we'll be doing another giveaway soon. So be sure to participate in the comments so you have a chance to win. I'm seeing a question. Is there a calendar of events for the lives in advance? That's a good question. We don't always know super far in advance. It takes a big team of people, but that is a good recommendation. I can definitely let the lives team know that might be something you're interested in. I'm seeing a question from B. Can the exfoliating set be used at the same time? This is a really great question. And we kind of mentioned, if you missed it, introducing exfoliation in your 40s if you haven't necessarily done so. So we have two exfoliants. We have our Refine It BHA and our Wake Up Radiant AHA. Our Wake Up Radiant is going to be, almost think of it like an overnight mask or an overnight treatment. It's going to be great for dryness, darkness, dullness, dark spots, hyperpigmentation, really fine lines, kind of the beginning of those fine lines, dehydration. Our Refine It BHA liquid exfoliant is going to be great for oily skin, combination skin, wanting to balance shine. Maybe you're breakout prone. Maybe you have a larger appearance of pore size that you want to combat. So both of them are great, and I think you can definitely use both. I just wouldn't necessarily use both in the same routine. So you could perhaps use the AHA. The AHA Wake Up Radiant, I would only recommend using this at night. The Refine It, you can use it morning or night, depending on what works best for your routine. But I would use it essentially the opposite of Wake Up Radiant. So if you're using both, I would use Wake Up Radiant at night and then the Refine It BHA in the morning, and minimize both. You don't need to be exfoliating every single day. So maybe you're using Wake Up Radiant one night a week and you're using the Refine It maybe 2 to 3 mornings a week, right? Like Dr. Kaprive was mentioning, a little bit goes a long way. You don't necessarily, this is a long run, we're not trying to do too much. Less is more sometimes, but great question. I'm seeing another question about the eye masks. Another great question. I love our eye masks. So these, our Glow Getter eye masks, are going to be great to pair with our Advanced Repair Eye Cream. I like to keep these in the fridge to keep them cool, but essentially it's going to help lock in that hydration, help with depuffiness, help with like just that tired eyes that we get that Dr. Kaprive mentioned. So you can use them. They are reusable. Just make sure you wash them afterwards. But yeah, as long as you're taking care of them, you should get more than a few uses out of them. I'm seeing another question. Does the moisturizer have retinol in it? So we used to have a retinol cream. Now we have our anti-wrinkle moisturizer. It does not have retinol in it, but I would say it's still great for anti-aging. There's peptides, which are great for plumping, fine lines, and wrinkles. There's glycolic acid, which will help it with the delivery system, essentially helping it with like skin texture, helping it penetrate. There's niacinamide. It's great for dark spots, dryness, hyperpigmentation. It's very rich and luxurious. And I would say if you're more on the dry side, I would recommend that moisturizer over the Brilliant Barrier Water Cream. I would say if you're a little bit more on that normal combination skin type, that's the moisturizer I would recommend for you. Lots of questions coming in. I'm seeing a question, what is the best order to use the vitamin C oil? So this is kind of a unique product. You can use this morning or night, which isn't necessarily the case with a lot of vitamin C's. Our Brighten and Even serum, for example, I recommend using this as like your morning powerhouse antioxidant, pairing it with SPF, like Dr. Kaprive was mentioning. Vitamin C and antioxidants plus SPF is like amazing morning protection from free radical damage, whereas our vitamin C dry oil is going to be a little bit more of a corrective treatment. You can think of it as like an overnight treatment, a spot treatment. If you have stubborn dark spots, hyperpigmentation, dryness, it is a dry oil, so it feels very, very moisturizing and hydrating without feeling greasy and oily like some other facial oils maybe you've tried. So you can use it kind of whenever works best for you. I prefer to use it at night. I do think it also, the type of vitamin C that is in there can be paired with retinol and our Firm and Lift product, which is not the case for, some of the vitamin C's out there, depending on the formula and the type of vitamin C they use. But yeah, I like to use it at night. And again, you can use it all over or as a spot treatment. Can you explain the order to use the products is another question I'm seeing. Good question. Yes. So first and foremost is always going to be your cleanser and your toner. Obviously, we want a clean surface to start. So we're going to cleanse our skin with our Gentle Gel Cleanser. It's a very gentle cleanser, as it says. Not stripping, not drying. And then our Hit Refresh Hydrating Toner is going to be great for resetting that pH and allowing your skin just to be prepped and ready to go for the rest of your routine. Then you'll want to go in with your serums. For the Power Trio, for example, this is your day and night serums. Like really every type of serum you would need is included in the Power Trio, which is one thing that I love so much about it. So you'll want to use your Brighten and Even and Dramatically Dewy during the day, and then your Firm and Lift serum and Dramatically Dewy at night. You can use this twice a day or once a day, obviously, whatever works best for you. And then you'll go in with your your eye cream, your neck cream, your moisturizers, your facial oils, your SPF, if you're in the morning, will always, always, always be the last step. So it kind of just depends on which products you're using, but that's kind of the general consensus on how to apply them, what order to apply them. I always recommend to wait if you can. I know it's hard in the mornings, not everybody has time. Wait 30 to 60 seconds at least. Give your products and each product some time to soak in before applying the next layer. I'm seeing another question. I have some dark circles around my eyes. Will the eye cream help? Yes, absolutely. And Dr. Kaprive and I kind of touched on that earlier. This eye cream is amazing for really all skin concerns that we experience under the eye, whether it is the fine lines and wrinkles, whether it is crow's feet, whether it is puffiness, darkness, dark circles, tired eyes. It's just such a delicate area of the body and area of skin. So having a targeted cream specifically formulated for this area, I think is key. So yes, it will help with dark circles. You can also pair it with, I kind of touched on this earlier, but the Glow Getter eye masks. Put the eye cream on first. A little goes a long way. I always kind of like to just pat it in rather than pull and tug, and then put the eye masks on top and let that sit for probably like 20, 30 minutes or so, and then you should be good to go. Which body cream is recommended? I kind of mentioned it earlier. You can use products such as our neck cream or our arm cream on other areas of the body. However, you will not have to do that forever. We have something really exciting coming soon. So I don't want to say too much. I'm just going to say stay tuned. That's all I can give you. But as far as body products, right now I do recommend the Sculpt and Tone Arm Cream. If you haven't tried it, it's very thick and rich and luxe. You can kind of see it through the camera, hopefully. I don't know if it's doing it justice, but it's very hydrating, very moisturizing, very just rich, creamy. It feels nice. It feels cooling. Absolutely would recommend the Sculpt and Tone Arm Cream. But like I said, stay tuned. You might not have to use that in other areas soon. What would you suggest getting first if you are a new person and don't have a skincare routine? Well, good news is you're in the right place. Like I said, and like Dr. Kaprive kind of mentioned before she had to hop off, it's never too late or too early to start. It truly isn't. And I think that all of our products are great for all ages and all skin types and all skin concerns. It's just the order of application and maybe the reason why and the results we're looking for that might vary the products that we're using. So that's a great question. I definitely would say you'll want a cleanser. We all should be cleansing our skin regardless of our age or gender or anything. You'll definitely want an SPF. And then I'd also say a moisturizer. Those are like my go-to must-haves: cleanser, moisturizer, SPF. Now, if you're looking for more results, maybe you have more concerns, then you can start adding in serums. You can add more targeted care like an eye cream or a neck cream. It kind of just depends on your concerns and the results that you're looking for. But if you're starting absolutely ground zero, I would recommend a cleanser, a moisturizer, and then our SPF. So many good questions. Nadia is asking, should we combine all serums or use them by themselves? Good question. I always like to recommend, and hopefully I'm reading this right, I always like to recommend each serum have a little bit of its own moment. And so if you're referring to like mixing them in the palm of your hand and then applying them, I would avoid doing that if you can. One thing that we used to talk about that we don't necessarily talk about as much anymore, when it comes to applying serums and kind of that middle ground of your skincare routine, is the ABCs. And so you want to start with your most active, potent serum. For morning, for example, that would be your Brighten and Even, right? You want your vitamin C to have its own moment, to have a chance to soak in. Then you're going to go in with your hydration serum, and then C is your like corrective serum, like or like product, I guess I should say, like the anti-wrinkle moisturizer or the barrier cream or something like that. So I would definitely give each serum its own time. If you want to apply, like maybe you don't want to apply every single serum every single day, right? You can rotate your routine, and maybe you're using niacinamide, for example, only 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe you're using retinol and the Firm and Lift serum only, a couple times a week as well. So definitely feel free to kind of mix and match if that makes it a little bit easier for you to use more serums too. And there is a giveaway happening now. So definitely make sure you join the game to enter to win. We have, I think, one more giveaway, 2 more giveaways left. So feel free to participate so you get a chance to win a gift card. But these are all great questions. Hopefully I'm doing a good job answering them and getting to them. When should I use the barrier cream versus the anti-wrinkle moisturizer? This is an excellent question. So 2 of our main moisturizers are the anti-wrinkle moisturizer and the Brilliant Barrier Water Cream. I would say if you're not sure which one you should use, kind of follow our color coding system. Our blue is going to be hydrating. So like our cleanser, our toner, our dramatically dewy anti-wrinkle moisturizer. The green line is going to be more like balancing, helping with like perfect the skin, maybe find our pore size, maybe you're breakout prone. That's kind of who I would recommend the green line for. Orange is going to be brightening, and then purple is going to be like that fine lines and wrinkles pro-aging products. So the anti-wrinkle, I would say I would recommend that if you're super, super dry, if you're like we kind of mentioned, if you're heading more into the 50s and 60s and you're experiencing that dryness from hormonal changes, I would definitely recommend the anti-wrinkle. If you're looking for more balancing, you're noticing larger pore size, you're noticing maybe you're have a little bit combination skin, you're oily kind of in your T-zone, you're dry on your cheeks, I would recommend the Brilliant Barrier Water Cream. It's a little bit lighter. It's more of a gel-like consistency, like a gel whip. So you can use both. I love using both. Typically, if I find that I need more hydration in the winter months, I will use the Brilliant Barrier Water Cream in the morning and then the anti-wrinkle moisturizer at night. Yes, and Leslie is saying, I love to mix them. I also mix the barrier, and then the vitamin C. Yeah, you can absolutely mix and match based on what your skin is needing, maybe in your routine that day or in that season. So for sure, feel free to do that. Kelly is asking, should all the products be used on dry skin with the exception of dewy on damp skin? Not necessarily. I think damp skin is more permeable, so it's easier to absorb. I would say, like, obviously the gel cleanser is going to be a little bit on damp skin. After you're cleansing, maybe the toner is a little bit on damp skin. Your skin is naturally damp as you're going through your routine, right? So the only products you really, really want to make sure you're using on dry skin is going to be the exfoliants, such as the Wake Up Radiant or Refine It, BHA, and the Firm and Lift Serum, the retinol serum. You will absolutely want to use these 3 products on dry skin, but anything else can be used on that more damp skin. And like I said, our skin is kind of naturally damp as we're going through our routine. So I wouldn't say you need to, unless you are really, really dehydrated and dry and just soaking it up and soaking it in that quickly, that you need to necessarily re-wet or re-dampen your skin throughout the routine. It should naturally stay a little damp in between products. Good questions. Hello, I'm 64 years old, and someone told me that it was advisable not to use any type of retinol. Don't really like retinol. Can you do that? Yeah, absolutely. If you have tried retinol and you don't feel like it is best for your skin, you know your skin best, you see it every day. I'm not with you. I don't get to see your skin every day, right? So I think follow your intuition. If that's what feels right, that's okay. I wouldn't say it's not advisable to necessarily use any type of retinol. It really just depends on maybe what your reaction was to it. I will say with retinol products, especially if you are using a prescription retinol, like tretinoin and retinoid serum, you might experience some adverse reactions at first, right? You'll be tight, you'll be dry, you could be peeling, you could be red, you could be itchy, you could be irritated. It's not always the most fun process to introduce a retinol into your routine. And so that's why I really like our Firm and Lift serum, because it is, as Dr. Kaprive was mentioning, great for and tolerable for sensitive skin types. And so again, if you don't like retinol, I think that's okay. But I also think that if you want to try something that is a little bit more tolerable, that is great for sensitive skin, try the Firm and Lift serum. Start slow. I always say start low and slow. Maybe only use it once or twice a week, and then work your way up from there. And that should help. Hopefully that answers your question. That was kind of a long-winded answer, but yeah, if you're not liking retinol, that's totally up to you. But I would say as long as you're using it correctly, you should be able to avoid some of those adverse reactions. Sue is saying, I have a brown spot on my face. I'm 68. What is best to use for that? We touched on this a few times with Dr. Kaprive. Absolutely, absolutely the vitamin C dry oil. Think of this as like a targeted treatment, a spot treatment, if you will. Dark spots and hyperpigmentation is very, very stubborn to treat. We kind of talked about that when we were in the 40s decade. But this one is a great one to use. You can use it morning or night. Like I said, you can use it all over, or you can use it as a targeted like spot treatment. If you really do have just maybe one specific area that is needing correction, right? You're only experiencing one stubborn dark spot. That is when I would kind of recommend to go the spot treatment route. But great question. Rhonda is asking, is there a place to watch these lives later? I keep getting kicked out. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I am not sure on the back end why that would be happening. I don't know, exit out and try exiting back in. I'm so sorry that is happening. But to answer your question, yes, these lives will live on YouTube. So you can rewatch them if there's maybe something you missed, or, you just want to revisit. They absolutely will live there for you to watch again. Linda is asking, should I put niacinamide over the dewy or under? This is a great question. And also, I don't really have an answer. Just kidding. These are tough, right? These are going to be like your barrier boosting besties. They're both going to fit in that B section of the serum and skincare ABCs. And so it's really up to you. Yes, you can. I find that I typically do apply niacinamide first, and then we'll go in with the dramatically dewy, just based on the consistency of the serums. You kind of, when it comes to serums, the idea is to go thinnest to thickest. I don't always like to say that for the whole routine because then it gets a little bit confusing. But yeah, that's totally up to you. Play around with it, see which one works best. But you can absolutely layer those two together. What are the must-haves in your early 50s? Great question. So we kind of touched on this with Dr. Kaprive. The average age of menopause for women in the US is 52. And so when we are experiencing menopause, our estrogen levels are going to drop, which will reduce our skin thickness. It will accelerate loss of elasticity. It will, double the rate of loss of collagen. So we're experiencing dryness, we're experiencing dullness, we're experiencing those fine lines, wrinkles, all the fun stuff, right? And so I would say some must-haves for that age group. I definitely would recommend the anti-wrinkle moisturizer. Again, with that loss of estrogen and those hormonal changes, dryness is a major concern that comes with that. I would also introduce the Firm and Lift Serum if you haven't already. I'd probably introduce the whole trio, to be honest. So you can use the Brighten and Even Serum and Dramatically Dewy in the morning, and then the Firm and Lift Serum and Dramatically Dewy at night. You might also, and we kind of touched on it, want to start focusing on areas that are a little bit more prone to showing signs of aging, such as the under eyes, such as the neck and chest, such as our arms. And so if that's the case, you can start introducing, depending on what your routine is and what your lifestyle is and what your timeline is, you can start introducing some targeted treatments like the neck cream, like the eye cream and the arm cream. But to start, I would for sure, if you haven't already, use the Power Trio and the Anti-Wrinkle Moisturizer. These are all good questions. Jessica is asking, is bakuchiol a safer alternative to retinol? Pretty much, yeah. It's definitely a more gentle, natural alternative to retinol. They do kind of the same thing as far as like speeding up collagen production, helping with fine lines, helping with wrinkles, help with the loss of collagen elasticity. So yeah, I would absolutely say yes to that. These are all great questions. You can also make sure you can join our VIP group if you haven't already. We do have regular lives there too that you can tune in for. If I don't get to all of your questions today, you can definitely ask there, and I am in the group. I try to answer them as much as I can. You can tag me if you want. But yeah, these are all great questions. Don't forget to shop the live while you can, interact with the games for the giveaway winners. Connie's asking that she's saying, it said I'm a winner. Who do I contact? You can contact customer service, support at gopurebeauty.com, and they will be able to get you your prize. But congratulations, that's really exciting. Couple more questions. I'm seeing, what is niacinamide for? Great question. This is a product that we don't talk about enough. I feel like niacinamide is great for everything. I don't know why we don't talk about it as much. So our niacinamide booster serum is going to be 10% niacinamide. It's great for reducing the appearance of our pore size, reducing kind of that redness, that oil and shine we get in our skin, which is also why it's a part of the green line when you're kind of searching through the site and figuring out what products are meant for what concerns. But yeah, it's going to be great for minimizing pores. It's going to be great for balancing the skin, helping with redness, helping with breakouts. If you are breakout prone and you experience some of that like post-inflammatory redness or erythema from the acne or the breakout or the acne scar, niacinamide is another great product you can use for that, for like hyperpigmentation. So yeah, it kind of does a little bit of everything. You can use it morning or night. It fits really easy and seamlessly into your routine. Good questions. I'm seeing a question, can the eye cream be used on the eyelid too? Yes. My esthetician tip is always to give you a little disclaimer when I see this question, because it can, if you're prone to milia or texture or breakouts or anything like that, I always suggest to be just a little bit careful. I love concentrating it like under the brow bone, kind of on the orbital bone. So you can feel, you can even see on my own structural, where the orbital bone is. But yeah, just press it in, bring it, to the sides for the fine lines and wrinkles, definitely under the brow bone, a little bit onto the lid, but obviously make sure not to get too close, and always be wary if you are prone to milia or texture, anything of that sort. All righty. So many good questions. Any other questions for me? Feel free to ask. Oh, we have one more giveaway. We have one more winner. Oh, congratulations, Connie. You are a winner. That's how you knew you were. I was like, you just commented that you were a winner. You knew before we even announced it. But yeah, feel free to contact us at support@gopurebeauty.com, and they will be able to get you your gift card. But congratulations. Thank you for joining and participating. We really appreciate it. Lots of good questions today. I'm just reading the chat. There's so many, so many of you on here. I'm seeing a question to kind of go back to 40 plus, like kind of back to the beginning, which I'm more than happy to do so. So if you weren't here for the beginning of the live with Dr. Kaprive, we kind of started with the 40s and then went into the following decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, and some of the changes we can expect to experience in these eras and decades of our life. And so with the 40s and even before the 40s, our collagen is decreasing by about 1%. And this is after you're 25. So it can happen a lot earlier than you think, which will lead to dryness and dullness, and your skin's ability to retain moisture will then as well drop, and it can drop up to 25% in your 40s. And so I always like to recommend a hydration serum. Obviously, if you haven't started that, our anti-wrinkle moisturizer, or maybe a richer, thicker, more just more potent moisturizer. There's a lot of moisturizers that are simply just that, but something that has, peptides, niacinamide, other ingredients that can tackle some of these concerns, such as the dryness, such as the dullness, such as the hyperpigmentation that we might see with some of our hormonal changes. You also may experience your skin looking a little bit rougher. Maybe it's looking more uneven. So we also talked about introducing exfoliation into your routine, if you haven't already done that in your by the time you reach your 40s. Our Wake Up Radiant AHA peel is great for almost like an overnight treatment. It's great for dark spots, hyperpigmentation, dullness, dryness, fine lines. Our Refine It BHA is going to be more of a liquid exfoliant. Think oily skin, breakout prone skin, large pore size, wanting to balance, oil and shine. That's kind of when I would recommend that exfoliant. But obviously both can help with that rough and uneven skin texture you can start to experience as we reach our 40s. One thing we also touched on, which is important regardless of the decade you are a part of, but is exceptionally important if you haven't started it already in your 40s, is SPF. We were joking earlier that SPF is like the most affordable anti-aging product you can get, and it's so true. If you are using these topicals and these ingredients and these exfoliants and retinol and retinoids and trying to correct and prevent and be proactive with your skincare, and you're not using SPF, like, you might as well not try so hard. You know what I mean? This is going to be so important for helping prevent and protect from fine lines, from free radical damage, from and environmental factors. She mentioned Dr. Kaprive touched on blue light. So like looking at our phones, looking at our computers, we're constantly exposed to these UV rays. So absolutely, if you haven't already, SPF is a product that I would recommend adding into your routine in your 40s. But these are great questions. If you miss anything or want to rewatch, especially the section that we had Dr. Kaprive on, she was only able to join for a little bit. This recording will be available on YouTube and it will live there. So you can rewatch it anytime if there is a routine recommendation or a product recommendation or any of the tips and tricks she shared that you want to revisit. You can definitely watch this on YouTube. But these are all great questions. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you're learning a lot and having fun. I see a question. I'm not sure if I can answer this, but I'm going to try my best, from Eileen. She's saying, I use the vitamin C active, but when I try to put some in tube, it doesn't give much. What am I doing wrong? The vitamin C dry oil. I think she's talking about the dropper, but it could just be like maybe you're almost to the end of your routine. I will say the dropper only fills, if you can see, kind of that perfect amount, that 2 to 3 drops. It's not going to fill the entire dropper because it's a very potent product and you don't need the entire dropper. So maybe that's also what you're experiencing, is you are trying to get more up and it's only allowing, that just a little bit. I don't know if you can see, which, like I said, it does bring up the perfect amount. Hopefully that answers your question. Yes, and I'm seeing some comments saying, if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be to stay out of the sun and use sunscreen, right? Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't that be our recommendation to all of our younger selves? But absolutely, it's so important, and not even for anti-aging, pro-aging reasons. Obviously, skin cancer is a real concern, and I, even like in my early 20s, had some spots removed on my back, and so it can happen at any age, at any place, and it is very, very important to protect your skin from the sun with SPF, with sunglasses and hats and shade and protective clothing. And yeah, that's a really good point. But it would be nice if we could go back and tell our younger selves to stay out of the sun and to use SPF. Alrighty, I think that might be it for today. If there's any final questions, feel free to ask in the chat and I will try my best to answer them. Otherwise, I really, really appreciate you all joining. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something new. I hope you learned a tip or trick that you can incorporate into your routine, regardless of the age and the decade that you are currently a part of. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys joining. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.